I'm good, exactly. I mean, I'm a bit jaded, so I'm doing funny things with my hair. I'm jaded because it's like it seems like one present days, long present days, and my soul is a little restless to work and everything. But at the same time, I know that this is so important because I've done so much work on myself for the past 4 months. So I can't take that for granted. Like it was education for me the last 4 months. But right now, I just feel like it'll be nice if I got back to set and things like that. Yeah.
Adil sir, you tell me how excited you are for everything that is happening around. I mean, day before yesterday, I was talking to Gautam sir, and because of Rahagir, the film that is screening at the Shanghai Film Festival, Shanghai International Film Festival, and Gautam sir was super happy, and he was just saying that how you your performance was like so amazing, and it was like आदिल ने ये किया, आदिल ने वो किया, इतना difficult weather में हम लोगों ने shoot किया था, and I'm so fortunate to have some actors like him and all of that, and this film also. So both the films, I guess, are screened at the Shanghai Film Festival, if I'm not mistaken. So how is it? How you are taking all in?
Well, it's happening. I didn't do anything. Can't take the credit because Gautam Da has done it. Prakash ji has done it. The other film is now being shown in South America's biggest film festival called Nirvana. In that one and two films in New York Film Festival, Saving Chintu and Lorni, which is a Khasi language film. The directors, writers, they are the people who should take the credit. I'm just a component, and I'm lucky to have directors like Prakash ji and Gautam Da, who is a multiple national award winner and a master storyteller. So I'm just feeling grateful that yeah.
And Shubham, what's up, man?
Yeah, everything's good.
So how excited you are with the release and all? Tell me.
Well, I'm very excited, to be honest. Like, as it is releasing on an OTT platform, everyone has access to it. So I'm very excited that almost everyone out there can see how we have performed and how we have, given our best in this film. And I'm a bit nervous too because it's the first 2-hour film that I'm doing. So that's why I'm a bit nervous that what would be the response I would be getting out of.
Another thing which is very important, the subject of the film, which has a question on the education system, right? And the way there is a constant struggle that one section of the society and their children are constantly facing. And here, how one man who wants his son to be educated, and how he struggles and things revolving around it. Tell me how the intention of the film is raising the right question or serving the purpose of it.
I guess it is one of the aspects that Prakash ji has sort of focused on, the economical aspect of education. And there are other huge issues which are related to education. What kind of education are we giving? Like, for example, I personally believe that India could become the leader of the entire world in terms of education of human wealth, education of humanities, education which would be based on the reservoir of knowledge and wisdom that Indian ancient seers have, gave us, and which is there for everybody to take, which is accessible for everybody, and you don't have to be rich in order to access those wisdom in countries like India. I remember I being taught or said by a person who sells tea on the street on a highway. I was motorcycling those days, and he gave me the most vital education within almost 45 minutes. So I was traveling across the country on my motorbike, and So some people ask me, why are you traveling on a motorbike? You should put the motorcycle in the truck and you should travel, just why are you taking the trouble? So these people left, and this person who I had been drinking tea from, he said, wo log aapko nahi jante hain, they don't know you. I said, no, they
Huh.
don't know me, I'm from Assam. He says, no, I'm not saying that you're from Assam. I even didn't know, apart from the fact that you might ask me, why am I traveling? I'd have answered, I love traveling like this. But
Yeah.
if you would have counter questioned me, why do you love traveling like that? I wouldn't have been
Uh-huh.
able to answer in an articulate way. But I asked him, why do you think I'm traveling like this? He said, जब आप ऐसे घूमते हैं मोटरसाइकिल में खुली हवाओं में, तो आप
Huh.
आसमान से मिलते हैं, पेड़ों से दोस्ती करते हैं, हवा से बात करते हैं, और जैसे लागी लगन वैसे मीरा हो गए मगन, जब मगन
Morgan.
होते हैं तभी तो एक दूसरे को जान पाते हैं. So this is coming out from a person who is not so-called educated. He is illiterate. So we have a bhandar of spiritual wisdom in the country, and that should be the focus of our education. Not only to make the schools like factories will produce the labor to run the country, but we can
Mm-mm.
excel as human race in India
Mm.
with the kind of values that world need the most now. Humanity's empathy, love, respect, harmony, all these things that we can actually offer to the world from the educationists like Sri Aurobindo or Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev, or Nizamuddin Aulia, or all these amazing great masters we have, Mahatma Gandhi,
Right.
Tagore,
Right.
all those.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. No, no, you're so right. Priyanka, do you really think that we actually somewhere that whole habit and practice of listening to the story from our grandparents used to be so much entertaining and educational at the same time, which has which is kind of does not exist anymore in our practice. Kind of something that needs to bring back the practice of listening to story and the storytelling. Do you think that kind of educates us much more?
The thing is, I feel like I mean, only my experience, like my parents generation was really like the generation which really lost a sense of something, because I feel like India changed drastically, so our parents suddenly saw like McDonald's and stuff like that, and
Huh, huh. Hmm.
not like changed, it was very directionless, but there the narrative from where my parents come from, the
Hmm.
spirituality and the intellectuality of life really displaced itself, and that's where my perspective is. And whereas my grandparents, I go back
Huh.
to because I'm when and that's my route, because I really need to know where I come from and everything. So with my grandparents, the stories were more tribal, the stories were more progressive, of of the politics, or even the integration of like a community building or anything, was just so much simpler, but way more progressive than what my parents generation did with it.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
India just like completely like took a 360-degree turn with so they lost a
Hmm.
lot of like that, and then my generation is trying to rectify it for the future, because the future will depend on this kind of a spiritual more we are talking about inclusivity. Yeah, we're talking
Correct.
about integrating, we're talking about accessing like Adil said, the spiritual knowledge. Right now,
Yeah.
who are the people who are working most? Yoga practitioners, meditators, healers, so we have to go back to that. There is no other way.
That route.
So
That route. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I'm now going back to what my grandparents actually taught me. Every little household thing that can cure me of a lot of disease,
Huh.
meditation, or haldi and good, things like that, that my grandmother used to grow in her backyard. And
Yeah. Correct.
so
No, correct.
it's
Like
all there, it's all
those
there.
gharelu cheeze, yeah. Shubham, hello. He was like, listening to us constantly. He's like, bro, what's happening? I also exist.
I
शुभम
was
Tell me
भाई
one
understanding.
thing.
और
I was observing.
ये जो मतलब बुजुर्ग लोग हैं इतना बात करते हैं इतना बात करते हैं मतलब
इतना
क्या
भाषण,
बताएं
इतना भाषण मैं तो
That's
आदिल को
nothing
सुनते
compared to
सुनते बड़ी
teenagers.
हुई हूँ.
No, but bro, tell me one thing. This is so interesting because what Priyanka was saying and what Adil sir was saying, I was listening and I was also like processing the whole jazz in my mind that it is true that our parents' generation was kind of lost in that transition of globalization. On the other hand, our generation, we are like we are born with everything in the sense of like mobile phone and internet connection and MACD and all that
Yeah,
things, right?
yeah.
So tell me, after doing this film, is there anything that you have learned to look at differently, which otherwise you are thinking in a certain manner, in a regular way, that because of the film and the journey that you have been through, you have got a chance to look at it
Wait,
differently?
my net is having some issues. What I film and stuff is that never judge anybody on the basis of their origin. Because everybody, whoever is on a post or whoever is on a specific, place or position, they have their own journey and their own story that they have come that far. And just when somebody is like, when you introduce someone and someone asks where are you from, if I tell them I'm from Bihar, the first impact they have, the first thing they guess about me is that Bihar is known for cheating in exams. So I must have some kind of thing related to that. So the first
Hmm.
thing which this movie has taught me about, or anyone who will watch this movie will learn, is that never judge a person from their origin, because a place or a small thing about that place does not define the person's character.
So this is also I would like to know, because as I'm going back to where I started the conversation from, is of the fact that this film has also screened at the Shanghai Film Festival, right? uh, and we all know that there is a problem that is going on between two countries. On the other hand, this is the first film festival that is happening over there, which is a physical film festival which is happening, because most of the major international film festival has gone virtual. How
Hmm.
do you look at this whole thing of, on one hand there is a conflict at the border, and on the other hand people are coming and sitting and watching films together?
Well, conflict on border is political and very, very territorial, and art is universal. I think art always should cross boundaries, build bridges, and not burn bridges. Art will finally help to bring countries, people together, societies together, and countries together, and continents together. That's the role of art. And I think that we should even encourage that artistic collaboration and activities should continue in spite of the fact that sometimes we might have certain conflicts of other nature between two countries, three countries, and all that. But art must be practiced in order to build the bridges or rebuild the bridges between the people. Do we want to live in conflict all our lives? Nobody wants to do that. Unless you want to do that and you have made a business out of the conflict. That lot of countries they practice it. I know it. I've read about it. I've read theses about it. I've read books on that. That war is an industry and the industry continues because certain warmongers would like to continue the war. And our job as human beings are, as a practitioner of art, has to do the opposite, that we should bring and usher a harmony between people and between countries.